Hi, my name is Terry, the Rig Sailor Weaver. Today I'm going to be pointing out some of the standard features and benefits that a Peterbilt brings to the table that offers the customer. Starting with the frame, which is really the spine of the truck. It's really the backbone of the entire truck. Peterbilt uses a high RBM frame, which means that you can set up to about 1.7 million pounds on this frame before it'll actually start to deform. And a lot of people say, well, we'll never get to a 1.7 million pounds on the frame itself. But the great thing about having that super heavy duty frame is that when you're loaded with 40,000 pounds on the fifth wheel, or 34 to be legal, that a lot of that bouncing and the bumps that you hit on the highway cause the frame to flex if the frame's not strong enough. Well, if you have a frame that's really overbuilt for the job, it reduces that flex in the frame. So that's really one of the standard features on the heavy-duty Peterbilt trucks that really stands out and really makes the product last. Other things that I'd like to point out about the truck is the huck-bolted cab. Now, the cab here is it's a full huck-bolted aluminum lap seam construction cab. And what that means is when these cabs are built, instead of using tack welds, which if you can imagine a tack weld is just two pieces of metal slapped together and then a little tack weld. It's just a little weld that holds them together. Well, instead of using tack welds, which can break if you hit a bump or get into a front-end collision or anything, any of those types of events will cause a tack weld to break. We actually use huck bolts, and they're aluminum huck bolts, and they don't unscrew. They're actually stamped together by machines, and the cab itself has over 500 huck bolts in it holding it together. One great feature about that is if you did get into some kind of collision or damage the cab, these can be drilled out, and one panel of this cab, since it's a lap seam construction, can be pulled out, replaced, and then re-huck bolted. And when I talk about the frame and the cab, that Peterbilt doesn't stop there. We go one step further, and all the components that we use for the Peterbilts are long-lasting components. We don't design a cab, frame, and chassis that'll last you 20, 30 years and then put cheesy 10-year mirrors on them, or 5-year mirrors, or a 5-year dash. Everything's built to last. Everything's constructed to hold up really to the test of time, and that's what makes Peterbilt such a smart investment. Just a quick little demonstration. There's not too many trucks that will withhold. I'm a 215-pound guy. There's not too many trucks that will actually withhold this kind of stuff that I'm going to show you. But check it out, just a quick little demonstration. Most heavy-duty trucks are designed with a plastic grill, and really the function of a grill is to allow airflow into the cooling package, but also protect the cooling package. And if you have a plastic grill, it doesn't quite do the job of protection. Now, Peterbilt, they build a heavy-duty grill, and this is one of the staples of Peterbilt construction. This thing can not only withstand a small pebble, but it can actually withstand, you know, a full-blown smash, if you will. And, you know, I didn't hit this thing as hard as I could, but I hit it hard enough to point out the construction of this grill. And actually it hurt my hand just a little bit, but I think it gets the message across that these trucks are designed, you know, heavy-duty construction, protect your investment. Let's not have this thing in the shop pulling money out of your pocket. Let's have it on the highway making you money. That's what Peterbilt's all about. Another cool feature that Peterbilt offers is the two-piece windshield system. And these pieces of glass are completely separate from one another. And the benefit to that is if a rock pops up, like we know that happens on the highway, and stars your window or smashes your window, you can actually replace one side of the window. Instead of having to put a $500, $600 window job in there, we can actually cut that cost in half. Another feature I'd like to touch on that really speaks volumes about the construction of a Peterbilt truck is the way that the cabin of the truck is constructed. Peterbilt uses a monocoque system, which, as you can tell, there's no flush seams in this truck. It's all a lap seam construction and a hook bolt fastening system that they use on this Peterbilt truck. It's a great system to use because you reduce the friction, and you literally can't destroy this cab. And I'll flash up some pictures. We have rollovers that happen out in the Port of LA where these trucks come in, and obviously disclaimers to not try this. We don't want to put this thing to a test. I'm speaking based on history, past experience. We have the same model of truck, a 384, which uses the all aluminum hook bolted cab. It's one of a kind in the industry, and it really is the heaviest duty cab and chassis construction that you can buy. We have these trucks that come in from the ports of LA that have done rollovers, and you can tell, I'll flash up some pictures, that there's minor damage to the cab. The cab is so strong that it can withstand rolling over completely, and we can actually repair these cabs and put them back out on the road without salvaging the truck and you being out $100,000 plus. One cool feature, and this may seem minor, but you'd be surprised how many operators and owners love this feature. And it really is the construction of the cab and how the doors close. We use a bulkhead style door, so when I close this door, it doesn't slam and set on the outside of the cab. It actually becomes a piece of the cab. It's a bulkhead style door, and the door actually sits inside the cab and becomes one solid piece as far as cab construction goes. And here's what I mean. Most other truck manufacturers, and you actually, as a frame of reference, you could take a car, for example, and the car actually closes and sits on the outside of the door of the car in most situations. This door closes and it becomes part of the structural integrity of the cab. It closes flush and becomes part of the bulkhead. Additionally, these things are built to withstand the test of time, and the sound that you get from closing one of these doors, it's not a rattle trap, it's solid. And truck drivers especially appreciate that. And it goes, it's just one piece of the formula that makes this truck really the longest lasting truck in the market and the perfect investment for most businesses. It's a great truck, built to last, top of the line. You can't get any better. It's a great product. When we talk about Peterbilts, we talk about a heavy duty truck that makes sense to invest in, that's going to last your business 20 or 30 years. Like I showed before, you know, Peterbilt really specializes in the longevity of a product. These things are built and tested under scientific measures to hold up for well over 1 million miles. And I guess it makes sense if you're gonna spend $100,000+ on a piece of machinery to spend a few extra bucks and get a product that's going to last you 30% longer. And then on the back end, when you go to sell it, you're going to end up making about 15 or 20% more resale value-wise. And you're going to make up the investment. You're actually going to make money on that investment, and it's going to treat you right.